I think we're still going to be really young. I mean, we have a heavy sophomore class and we have a big freshman class, but both of those classes are super hungry. Like when we recruited them, they were already hardworking. They already had this like high standard for themselves, and so they really have been this good new energy. And we have a great set of upperclassmen that know how to work hard and know what it takes. So it's a good mix of this young energy and this older wisdom on like, okay, this is what it's going to take, so let's merge that together.
When you look at the roster for this year from last year, are you able to gauge talent-wise where you think you stand going into the first day of practice yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're more talented, and that's no disrespect to last year's roster. I think last year's roster understood pressure more, but this year I think we're more talented just out of sheer athleticism. So I think we'll have to figure out how we do in pressure, but I definitely think we're more talented in every single position. There's tons of depth, and I have no clue, what's going to end up in February and what's our starting lineup, which is so fun. It's different, but it's super fun.
We're hearing this message of we. Why is that the message this year?
I mean, it's just about us being together. It's about us understanding all of our talent and all of our experience, and the young and the old, and all of that together is going to make us be, I think, really, really hard to beat. And I think that we can be super talented separate and be fine, or we can be very talented together and be really hard to beat. So I think it's got to be a we. It's got to be young and old. It's got to be freshmen and senior. It's got to be inexperience and experience. I'm excited about it.
What excites you about the schedule? I mean, it's a gauntlet of one when you look at the number of tournament teams.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what you need, though. You need experience to go into. We have half of our team that's super young, that has no idea what it looks like to take top 20 teams, and that's our conference, and so it's not going to do us any favors to be soft and then go into conference and get slaughtered, so the idea, just like we did last year, the idea is like when we move into conference, like we've already faced it. We've already faced the best pitching we could face, the best defense we could face, the best, whatever, minus Oklahoma, we would already have faced that. So if you play a team like Washington, and then you can go into your conference, and if you succeed in that, and then you go into this, and you're like, we've already been here, so we're fine.
Do you see being on the road so much in the start as beneficial in a way, just to develop that team chemistry off the field?
Yeah, I mean, that's a we, right? You're together all the time within that. Like, you got to create space for everyone to be separate, and girls are girls. So, I think that's a total benefit. And really the only difference is in that last tournament that we normally would host, we're going to Hawaii. So it's like, okay, guys, like, are you mad to go to Hawaii, or would you rather stay here and host? So it's really one weekend that's different, but I really think that it's a positive start for us to be a we.
How important was last year's tournament run and having that on paper, taking LSU to a third game as a selling point to maybe this year's team and teams in the future of what we can do here?
I mean, there's nothing that can mimic that experience. You can create pressure, you can do all of these things that are kind of like that, but there's nothing that can mimic that exact feel, right? And so I think no one was surprised from our team on what we went there and did, right? Everyone's just, honestly pissed off because we didn't finish. So you want some of that hunger from that bitter taste to then say, well, we can go into that really hard atmosphere and get it done. And now our kids really understand like how important it is to host, because before we didn't know that really, because we hadn't lived that. So I think there's nothing like that experience to give us a good perspective, and then also just to keep that, all right, this hunger, like now we know what we want, we know how to get there.
You talked about how last year's team maybe had more knowledge on how to finish.
Yeah.
More talent, take them that
I think we knew how to handle pressure.
Yeah.
And I think that was because we were a little bit older, and some of our starters were a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned, and now we have some kids that have played this game their whole life but haven't been seasoned in the college game. And so I think who knows, if you talk to me middle of the year, I'll be like, well, I was wrong. We can handle pressure just fine. But just on paper, it's just out of youth. And how are we going to handle that pressure? I don't know. We don't know yet. It's the unknown.
Is there any way to teach that, or is that just something you're going to learn in game or not?
I mean, I think we can mimic and model a whole lot of pressure situations here and see who handles it. but there's nothing like when your parents are in the stand and cameras in your face and you're playing someone you've watched on TV that was just in the World Series, and now what are you gonna do? You know, and then you watch yourself hit a bomb, and then you're like, okay, I'm fine. So we just need to get through some of those experiences, which we'll get a little bit early in some of those preseason tournaments.
How does this preseason differ maybe from preseason?
I think we play more top 20 teams, but we go like kind of like a lower RPI tournament, and then we go to a higher RPI tournament, we go lower, and then we go higher. It goes kind of in this ebb and flow. And so I think it's just we play overall more top 25 teams than we ever have before.
What's the feeling around this program in terms of positivity, confidence, and hope?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have all three of those things. I think, like I said, I think we have young energy, this like a little bit cocky energy that's like, all right, we finally got here and we're ready to do big things. And I think last year's class felt like that, and this freshman class feels like that too. And then we have our season kids that are like, yeah, we built this thing, let's go. You know, so I think they're just ready to get going. The wheels have already been rolling for a while, and they're just like, bring it on.